At Apple's event that happened in April, the two highlights were a completely redesigned iMac, which is probably getting the most attention, and also a new iPad Pro, both featuring the Apple M1 chip, which if you've been following Apple up until this point, you probably know that this chip absolutely blows away Intel processors, dramatically increasing speeds of processing for any device that has the chip. So in this video, we're going to find out why Apple may have decided to release both of these devices at the same event. Now, these two devices being released at the same time may not seem strange at all, but I think it actually does fit very well with what seems to be Apple's goals with these two products. I think what Apple is trying to do is ultimately convince people to purchase both an iMac and an iPad Pro to use alongside one another. Specifically, when we take a look at the iMac, it's pretty obvious that it isn't meant to be a portable device. So this means that people who purchase just an iMac will be out of luck if they want to, for example, go to a coffee shop and get some work done, especially in the days of a home office, where people's primary computer setup will be at their house. Now, the iPad is essentially the exact opposite of the iMac when it comes to portability and versatility. When paired with the Magic Keyboard, it's clear that it can become an instant portable workstation with cellular connectivity, cameras, touchscreen, and easy-to-handle design and flexibility. It makes sense that this is one of the most easy devices that Apple makes to carry around. I think there's a reason that the two devices are so different from one another and were also released at the same event. Like I said earlier in the video, because people who buy an iMac don't have any portability options, they will most likely need another portable device. And while devices like the MacBook Air might seem more appealing at first, I think there's a couple of reasons why someone who buys an iMac might be more inclined to go with the iPad. First, people who buy an iMac are probably less price sensitive than people who purchase only one of Apple's laptops, given the higher price tag. This means that even though buying an iPad and equipping it with all the necessary accessories will run well over $1,000, they may not mind paying the premium to get the full portability experience. Because of the advantages the iPad offers with cellular connectivity, it makes it a good add-on device to go with an iMac. Also, given Apple's seamless ecosystem integration across all of their products, it gives buying an iPad even more advantages. For example, users can take photos and scan documents instantly with their iPad in order to very easily insert them on their iMac. Messages, calls, iCloud, and many other things will sync to both of their devices, enabling users to start work at home on their iMac and then grab their iPad and decide to head to a coffee shop and keep working. There is another side to this, however. I've been talking about the major differences that the iMac and iPad Pro have, but another reason iMac users might also buy an iPad is the similarities the two devices have. One of the most important ones is processing power. They both feature an M1 chip, and while the chips may not be identical due to optimization for two separate operating systems, they both have very similar amounts of processing power. This makes transitioning from the iMac to using the iPad much more seamless, since the user doesn't have to experience slowdowns when switching devices, which interrupts workflow and makes it much more difficult to juggle two devices. Second, they both have comparable ease of use. To unlock an iMac, all the user has to do is simply rest their finger on the Touch ID sensor, and with the iPad, use Face ID. Once you're into either of these devices, you can instantly launch apps and experience great display quality. Like I mentioned before, the communication experience isn't interrupted either, since messages and calls are both integrated. All this to say, the overall experience isn't affected, since these are both very capable devices. Apple is a company that likes to make sure users have a positive experience with their products, so it makes sense that they would want transitions between devices to be as seamless as possible. This is why customers at Apple are so satisfied with the products they purchase, and keep upgrading their devices when there's a better, more powerful model released. It's all part of Apple's business strategy, which is to sell hardware at a higher cost than their competitors. I'll be talking more about this as Apple continues to release products, so stay tuned for that. Alright, that's it for this video. If you found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, and please consider subscribing. I'm just starting this channel out, so it would really help me out. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.